Hi everyone. Am I in the right chat? Yes, I am. Hi everyone. It's been a while and I'm really excited to be sharing with you patient stories this year. It's all about getting the voice out of the parent and hopefully it can inspire some other parents out there. So today we have Rachel, who is a mom of 2 girls, and she has kindly she's here now. View request, yes. Thank you, Rachel. Go live with Rachel. Because there's quite a bit. Hello, Ramya. So I'm so excited and I'm so honored that she wants to do that. Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi. Good evening. Are you well?
I am. Are you?
Yes, fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. My intention, can I just say, my intention for these videos is to inspire someone out there, a mom out there in the world whose baby is also suffering, because cow's milk allergy is a problem that affects children from all over the world. So you never know how far this video can reach and how it may help someone else. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And for anyone who's joining, if you have any questions whilst we're doing this chat, it's very informal. Please go ahead and ask. Even if you have any clinical questions, I'll do my best to answer them. So thank you, Rachel. So you have a cute little girl who we looked after for about 2.5 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
And you know what really, the reason why I thought to share your story is because you've changed her formula so many times to get it right.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, just to talk through, the journey before we met, what was it like with your little girl?
So, I think I noticed that she was quite unwell about 5 days after she was born, and because my first daughter had cow's milk allergy as well, it was sort of similar-ish signs. So mucus in the poo. She was very colicky, like crying all the time. She wouldn't be awake and have many sessions where she weren't crying. So straight away I thought, right, there's something not right here. I know what a settled baby should be like. And I went to my GP. I think this was a week after she was born. And they was like, we're not too sure, but we'll refer you to the paediatrics anyway, and we'll put you on Aptamil Pepti 1 whilst you're waiting. And so when I got the letter through for the paediatrics, the referral wasn't till January. So this was in October as well, like very early in October. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till January with her being like this. So I went online and I bought Neocate LPC myself, because that's what my first daughter had. So she started on Kendamil. I then swapped her onto the Aptamil that the GP had prescribed, and I then put her onto the Neocate. And it seemed to just get worse. And then I went back to the doctors, who were just baffled, because they were like, well, Neocate's the only sort of thing you can try. And then if Neocate doesn't work, nothing's going to work, and it's not cow's milk protein allergy. So I got an early referral to the paediatrics, and he said the same. He was like, no, she can't have cow's milk protein allergy because Neocate's not working. So by this time, that was 3 doctors that had told me she hasn't got a cow's milk protein allergy. I then thought, well, there's something not right, so I'm going to go to a private paediatrician. Went to him, he said the same thing. No, you've tried Neocate, it's not working, so it's not a cow's milk protein allergy. So I was like, right, okay, I need to try something else. So I put her on to goat's milk to try and settle her stomach a little bit, because it's more gentle to digest. Come to the private paediatrician appointment, he was like, oh, maybe try lactose-free milk, or maybe go back to Aptamil Pepti 1. So I was like, right, the only one I haven't done is the lactose-free, so I'll try that one. She just weren't getting better, so I was like, right, I'll go back to Aptamil Pepti and just stick with that one and see, give it some time and see how it goes. I think it was 3 weeks, and obviously I'd found you by Googling searching on TikTok cow's milk protein allergy symptoms, and you pop up in all your videos. And then on one of them, I think it was like get in contact, and I didn't realize that I could physically get in touch with you and say, can I have some help? And I know the first time I talked to you, I said something like, we think she's getting a little bit better on the Aptamil, so I'm not sure if we're going to go down this route yet or not. And then a few days later, I was like, no, she's getting no better, so I need something else now. I need someone to actually listen to what I'm saying. And that's when you came into it.
Yes. Oh, what a journey.
Yeah.
Just explain her symptoms a bit more. So mucus in the poo, unsettled, anything else?
She had eczema across her eyebrows. That started off as like spots on her face, which the doctors were saying that's just sweat rash or baby acne. She was just like cramping all the time, like she'd pull her legs up and scream in pain, like she'd wake up from sleeping in pain all the time. Through the night she weren't as bad, but through the day she'd just be in constant pain, and I could tell she was in constant pain. And then she'd strain to poo, so a lot of the doctors said, no, she's constipated, prescribed her some Lactulose. I gave her that, and then her poos were just like violent watery poos. One doctor was like, she's got reflux, gave her some omeprazole. And then another doctor said, don't give her that because that kills all the good bacteria. So there was loads and loads of mixed messages from different people.
Yeah. And then I remember the day I think I received your email. I think it was an Thursday evening, and because I read it and I thought, okay, I see every email as urgent, because I know I don't know what it's like because I don't have a baby with cow's milk allergy, but obviously working with parents with an allergy baby, it's so hard to see you guys struggle and see baby struggle, when in fact, when we can change the formula to something that is correct, then we can see symptoms resolve. But this is when you need an expert to know the difference between the formulas, because there are so many, and they all have different ingredients. And if one child reacts to Neocate, for example, which is a great amino acid formula, so completely free from cow's milk, but if it doesn't work, there are still many other formulas out there to try. So then what did we do, Rachel? I think our first assessment, I think I changed her to Neocate Cineo, didn't I?
Yes, so that was, I think that came, I spoke to you on the Monday, and by the Wednesday, the samples of the Neocate Cineo had come. Yes. We started on that one.
Yes, so I sort of thought I was going to do that anyway, but we always wait to the first assessment just to make sure, we do a proper clinical history. And I remember you said that she had been a little bit better on the Neocate LCP, but she struggled with constipation. Yeah. Is that right?
I don't know if she was better, but I know she struggled with constipation. Yeah, so I think at the time we said we can't really see a difference. Okay. And that's why all of the doctors were like, she's not got an allergy then, because you can't see a difference on Neocate. Like, to them, Neocate was the be all and end all. Yeah. And if she didn't get better on that, then she didn't have a cow's milk allergy. Yes.
So, by the way, with cow's milk allergy, for anyone watching, with the it's a delayed type of allergy, first of all. So it can be very hard to pinpoint. It's very hard to diagnose, because in order to diagnose it, you have to take the milk out of the diet, see symptoms improve, and then put it back into the diet. And then if symptoms worsen, then there's your answer. So it can be very hard, I think, for some clinicians to pinpoint what is actually going on. Now, the key message here is her bowels were affected, and her skin was affected, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So with cow's milk allergy, we're always looking for systems and symptoms. So basically, we're looking for multiple systems being affected. And it was for your daughter. Multiple systems were affected, but she has what we know as a sort of a mild non-IgE cow's milk allergy. So I think that's why you were sort of in the system for a while and not getting the right treatment, I think. Mm-hmm. So then I changed it to Neocate Cineo. You got the samples to your door, which we delivered that service. And what happened then?
So the first bottle she had of that, she threw straight back up. But that was on the first night she had it. Then the next day, she started to have blood in her poo. And I don't think it was a reaction to the Neocate because she'd not been able to keep it down for that long. So I think that was just a reaction from all of the different milks that still contained actual milk. And then it got to the point she was only drinking 1 ounce, maybe 1.5 ounce every few hours. She dropped in her percentile. Well, she was dropping anyway, so this wasn't because of the Neocate, but she was dropping in a percentile of weight. Yeah. And every time she drank that, it would be about 5 minutes later she'd squirm, and she would really squeal in pain and cry after a bottle. So I knew that it was something that in the Neocate that she was reacting to. And so then it came to a point where you said to me, go to 111 because she's getting worse. But with that in mind, I think we need to change her on to what's it called? SMA Alfamino. Yes. That's it. So I went to, when I got the urgent care appointment, I went knowing that you'd said that, so I could say, this is what my dietitian has said, and give them that information, and they sort of followed your lead as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason why I prescribed Neocate Cineo is because it's an amino acid formula. She was on Aptamil Pepti when we met. That wasn't going down well. And Neocate Cineo has pre and probiotics in. So I thought, oh, maybe this will help her gut. And usually we would leave a formula with a child for at least 2 weeks before we change it. But it was very evident that she was actually getting worse. So then we thought, well, I thought, and I told you that it must perhaps be the coconut in the Neocate Cineo, or even LCP has coconut oil in, and SMA Alfamino. And this is when, this is why having someone that's an expert in these formulas working with you is key, because not all formulas have the same ingredients. So SMA Alfamino doesn't have coconut oil in. So we changed it to SMA Alfamino. And I think that was the second week, wasn't it, that you got the samples for that? And what happened then, Rachel?
I actually looked back at all the other formulas, and I think every single one had coconut oil in, apart from one of them. So I thought, oh, if it is the coconut oil, then of course she's going to have reacted this whole time. So I think it took about a good week to see some real improvement, and then another week went by and I could really see an obvious improvement then. But like, it weren't, with the Neocate, you could tell that something straight away wasn't right, whereas with this one, it was a really slow progression of getting better, but she has got better on it.
Yeah. And I remember checking in with you every day because, I was worried as a pediatric dietitian because her weight was dropping, she wasn't drinking a lot, and it was like a mystery. You tried 7 formulas by then.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if this is not the one, then what on earth do we do? So, I'm so glad it worked out. And she started to drink more, which is also a sign that the child is actually liking this formula and they know that it's agreeing with them. Because often, not often, I feel when I work with children that when they don't drink a lot, it's because maybe something isn't agreeing with them, unless they've started weaning and they naturally want to drop the bottle. But it was very evident that she was getting better, and her skin improved as well, didn't it, on her head, and her bowels improved as well. And how is she today?
She's good. I don't think she's 100% yet, but I feel like it's still all, she's been through so much and she's had so many different formulas. I feel
She
like it's still
has.
all working its way through. But I don't know, how long would you say it would take? Would it be like 6 weekish, something like
So
that?
we usually say 2 weeks on a new formula
Yeah,
to see whether it improves or not. And obviously she's improved.
yeah,
So then it's just a matter of time and it's going to get better. For some, it can take 4 to 6 weeks.
yeah,
Unfortunately, it's not an immediate
yeah,
thing. And a lot of parents want to change the formula very quickly, which is understandable because obviously if baby's suffering, you know, you want to do something to help them. But unless there's something really drastically wrong, like blood in the stools,
yeah.
we just wait. And if baby's getting better, we wait and we see.
I'm sure on the website for the milk that she's on at the minute, it says between 2 and 4 weeks. So
Right.
I'm waiting for. She's been on it 3 weeks, and she's definitely. When I spoke to you last, I said she's 70% better. I'd definitely say she's creeping up to like 80% now. So yeah,
Oh,
she's
great.
definitely
So
getting
great to
there.
hear. So great to hear. So do you mind saying like how are things working with
Yeah.
us,
So
with me?
we would speak daily. There's like a chat on the app where we can talk, and I think that's really useful because I could just send you like a poo picture straight away, and you'd inspect and say yes, there's blood in that, or that looks very mucousy, or that looks like it's getting better. So there's just that like communication constantly, and then even when our sessions finished, it weren't like you cut me off and it was done and dusted. You've kept in contact with me this whole time, made sure over the Christmas period that she was okay. And it's just really reassuring. And I found that knowing how much she was drinking useful as well, because I don't think I would have realised how little she was drinking on the Neocate if I wasn't like journaling it. And I could also say
Yes.
it were really obvious to see on the app that she drank a bottle and then reacted like this maybe 10 minutes after, and you could see like patterns occurring and
Yes.
things like that.
Yes.
And that were really
And
useful.
actually, the reason why this daily communication is obviously a lot of work for us as a team, but at least we see what's going on with the child and we can take drastic action instead of waiting. And
Yeah,
we like to take massive action as quick as possible because baby's suffering, and actually baby doesn't need to suffer. If they're under correct formula, they do not need to suffer
yeah.
if they have a cow's milk allergy.
I
So
feel like the doctors are, what the pediatrician that I went, the private pediatrician was like, put her on this for 6 weeks. And I would have had to wait 6 weeks to go back and see him and say, it's not working or it is working. Whereas with you, it's a daily thing and you can switch something straight away if you need to.
yes, and that's why we do what we do, because yeah, why wait when you can solve the problem immediately? Because if children are left too long on a wrong formula, and for example, we've had a child recently who has just been vomiting and vomiting on the wrong formula, and weaning is actually proven to be very difficult because they associate drinking milk with pain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we want to try and avoid adverse consequences for a delayed diagnosis of cow's milk allergy. Now, we have not done the guideline that says now we need to diagnose that she has cow's milk allergy. But because she has been so unwell for so long and gone through 8 formulas, I personally don't think it's needed for her because
Yeah,
she's only just getting better.
yeah,
But for a child that got better immediately and there hasn't been, all this drama, then we would suggest perhaps doing a trial to see and confirm that the child has cow's milk allergy. I think for your daughter, it's very clear that she has non-IgE cow's milk allergy.
yeah.
So does anyone have any questions that they may want to raise, either for Rachel or for myself? Because it is a big topic, and the journey doesn't just end here. First, you get the child better, and then, if appropriately, you diagnose it, and then, if not, then there's milk-free weaning, which is coming soon,
Mm-hmm.
and then there is starting the milk ladder. But actually, going back to milk-free weaning, then there's the active exposure of food allergens into the diet. And I'll be curious to see how she gets on with, for example, coconut.
Yeah.
Just because of her reactions to coconut oil, we think, in the Neocate formulas. Okay, so we've got, I think some of these people might be from your
I think
Instagram.
A lot of them are, yeah.
Can you recognize some of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but thank you so much for sharing your journey, Rachel. It's really appreciated, and I'm hoping that this will inspire some mothers out there, because changing a formula. I mean, I'm changing someone to a lactose-free formula. There needs to be a rationale for that. Mm-hmm. So there is a difference between lactose intolerance and cow's milk allergy, but again, a lot of people think they are the same, or they don't know that it's different. And a lactose-free formula is only used if a child has, for example, diarrhea. If the bowels are affected only and they have diarrhea, then we will consider a lactose-free formula. But it's not something that, lactose-free formulas still contain cow's milk protein, which is why she wasn't improving on that. And goat's formula, mm-hmm. Yes, it's a little bit gentler on the tummy. It's still a protein from an animal. Yeah. So you still cannot use it in children with cow's milk allergy.
Yeah.
For anyone re-watching this video, that's why I'm just saying this in case they want to know. Okay. So thank you so much, Rachel. Is there anything else you want to add?
There was something about, when I've got to introduce like the scrambled eggs and things like that for the allergies? Say if I'm weaning her from 17 weeks, how do I... Ready. Yeah, if she's ready. How do I go about doing scrambled eggs or anything? Because do you start with purees?
So if it's 17 weeks and she's ready to wean, then it's purees. Obviously not baby-led weaning till they're 6 months. And then the advice is to start them on eggs and smooth peanut butter first. So for example, you could do a boiled egg, or maybe a quarter of a boiled egg for breakfast. Always morning time, in case there should be a reaction. And then you could mix it in with something in the morning. Or if you're worried, you could do maybe a pancake with baked egg.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And with the smooth peanut butter, you can water it down a bit, and then you could add it into her porridge, for instance.
But I'd only do this from 6 months. I wouldn't do this if I start at 17 weeks.
You can still introduce food allergens early.
Right.
If a baby when a baby starts weaning, I usually say to parents, get into the groove of weaning. So give it about 2 weeks and, get into the flow, and then start introducing food allergens. And eggs and peanut butter would be the first ones to try.
And how long would you give it between, like, giving them a little taste? Would I do it every day, or?
So you could do it over 2 or 3 days, because remember, some of these could, for example, with egg, you can see some delayed reactions. Yeah. But if it's an immediate reaction, you would know it immediately. Right. But egg, for example, can cause for some children a delayed reaction. So you could give it over a few days. But with peanut butter, you would know straight away. And the advice is to give it at least 2 or 3 times like that week, just to see how they're getting on. Yeah. But I will send you some information. You've got the milk ladder information already. Yeah. So obviously in between we've got introducing food allergens. So I'll send you some information to help you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So for anyone watching this, if you want any help and support with your baby, please get in touch either via DMs or on info@nishtischoice.com. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your time, Rachel.
No, it's all right.
Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.